This is the 2024 to 2028 Capital Improvement Plan public hearing for North Sea. Thank you guys for joining us this morning to discuss your capital request. I know you all are not, this is not a new process for you. So what we would like for you to do is to go through your request project by project. We give a brief description of what you are proposing, what your vision is for capital improvements for North Sea over the next 5 years, and allow for any kind of conversation, any kind of discussion that anyone present might have. So, you ready? Okay. Can we go around with introductions first? I'm Larry Massey, Deputy Director at City Planning Commission.
Vince Smith, Director of Capital Projects.
Rachel Bird, Planning Administrator, City Planning Commission.
Edgar Alexis, Chief Operating Officer of NORD.
Larry Garabino, Junior CEO of NORD.
Miguel Gutierrez, Project Manager with Capital Projects. Representing NORD.
Right? Okay, well, the first thing on our capital budget request is Skelly Rock Turf.
Larry, let me jump in. I hate to interrupt, but can you just kind of start with just an overall summary, as this is a 5-year plan, can you just talk about how, what you have listed, what your overall, how does it fit in?
Sure. Okay, so yes, as Vince mentioned, this is our overall 5-year capital budget request. Basically what it is we look at NORD's needs as it relates to prioritizing what we need to do, what our more immediate needs are. NORD's public safety is always our number one priority when we're looking at them, but also we're looking at when we're building something or renovating something, longevity of it, more or less, and how we can, of course, utilize it, expand it, and have it to last for longer years. And so we're saying that the projects that we have listed are projects that we see as we move forward with NORD, not only will bring a more sustainable in quality as it relates to facilities, but also it gives us the longevity as it relates to offering more quality programs and services for the residents that we serve. And I want to start first, which is on the top of our list as a priority, is Skelly Rock Stadium Turf. We have that project now that's going in the initial scope of the project. We had to turf the entire field, but with the cost escalation in projects and when the cost came in, we had to put the turf as an alternate. The outfield turf as an alternate, and we want to make this project whole. The goal is to make this project whole, comparable to what we have in Pontchartrain Park, which is our Wesley Barrow Stadium, which is a state-of-the-art stadium that offers year-round baseball. When it rains, we allow the rain to stop and can immediately return back to play. No matter what level of rain we receive, once the rain stops, we can return back to play. We're looking to do this in Algiers, make sure that we're offering something of the same quality in Algiers and West Bank of New Orleans. Also with that, our second project is...
And Larry, if I could ask you a question about the turf in general. If I remember correctly, some of the plans for athletic fields at your campus on Milne, didn't those incorporate some kind of stormwater retention components to it? Is that something that would be, I guess ideally, would be kind of incorporated into Skelly Rock? Is this like something that would be even desired?
It's something that definitely would be desired, but this is something that's not a part of this project. Most of our stormwater management projects today have been identified on the East Bank of New Orleans. So we're working with the Office of Resiliency, incorporating the stormwater management projects beneath the projects, should I say, as we've been moving forward with doing more projects. So, but this is not one particular site that we have the stormwater management component.
Sure.
Let me talk to that for a second. The properties around Skelly Rock are undeveloped. It's the old urban field, and then we have the Eagle Preserve, and then there's an alley that's basically access way and some other improved properties. So I guess eventually once those other components get developed, there's probably going to be a need for storm management to be implemented in the development. So I just wanted to add that.
And just a couple of other things. So we had this as an alternate, and Larry, we are just launching out on a restoration project that's still rough to bring it back in commerce. It's been out since Katrina. So we're finally moving forward with improvements to bring it back into commerce. And also as Larry is converting his fields from natural to turf, there's an economy there in maintenance. So there are advantages.
It's a huge advantage as it relates to cost savings, because we have a company that comes out and conditions and service all our turfs, where it might cost me a few $1,000s, where that my grass cutting contract is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point. And so it's definitely cost savings for that. Yeah. And we already manage 4 facilities today that already has an artificial turf. And we find it more easier to maintain. We find it, the longevity of it with us having the condition in service once a year compared to the cost that we paid for grass cutting on the grounds maintenance services. And so also with that, we're also looking to add, number 2 is to add an infield turf at the Joe Brown baseball stadium. We're only looking to turf the infield on this one, and that's our second one, because as baseball is really growing back in the city of New Orleans, we have universities that at this point that now depend upon NOAA. We have Xavier University with baseball team, Dillon University with baseball team, even Southern University at New Orleans is looking to start up their baseball team, and they're looking to utilize NOAA facilities because they don't have the land mass to build stadiums. But also with that, the high schools depend upon us as it relates for baseball stadiums as well.
When do you lease like a Dillard or Xavier? Would that be a lease arrangement?
That would be renting, yes.
Okay, so
That would be renting, yes. So next on there we have Starling Gentili pool tub repairs. This is an old pool, and we've been patching it for years, and it leaks, and the leak has gotten worse and worse. So, but this is one of our high volume pools. Based upon the data, this pool is heavily utilized by our constituents every summer. And so this is one that we want to get the repairs done to make sure that 1, we can stop the water leaking into the community as it does, and 2, it also saves costs for us because we have to spend a lot of money constantly treating the pool, keeping the pH balance level, because it drains and loses water so much. We have to constantly add water. Next we have Joseph Bartholomew tennis courts.
Larry, let me jump in. I'm sorry. On the Starling's tub, are we going to have to procure a designer for this, or is this something we can develop performance specs?
I think we could do performance specs on it, yeah.
Okay.
And on this one, the next one we have the Joseph Bartholomew tennis courts resurfacing and striping. Now we have this at one cost, and we just received estimates it came in way more than this cost that we're asking for. It came in at 1.3 million. These tennis courts can't be repaired based upon the contractor that came out. We had 2 different contractors that come out, Quality Courts and
T3.
And both are saying that because the concrete has shifted throughout and broken up, that they need to be totally demolished and upgraded. We have a large, the neighborhood association, we met yesterday, the neighborhood association as well as Councilman Green, and this is a priority for Councilman Green because the neighborhood association is pushing to have these courts redone. So this is something that, we have one with 750,000, but the estimates came in as low as 1.3 million.
You gonna change this?
Yes,
You gonna change
we'd
it?
like to change this to
Yes.
at least 1.5 million. Yeah.
Well, make sure you capture, all of your soft costs, contingency.
Then that
So
means,
just get with Miguel,
yeah,
a
that
little
means
bit
we need
higher.
to go to 2 million on this. Miguel.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go to 2 million on this.
And once again, just consider, as we're doing this, consider your design phase. Because if we can, it's always best to do design then build. So if that's reasonable and feasible, go ahead and break it like that.
Sure. Sure. And we'll work with Miguel on that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we put in, Joseph Bartholomew, we've requested for the last 2-3 years about adding a clubhouse. Because we have 10 standalone tennis courts with no restrooms, no facilities. We do have the space out there for it. Also, part of our meeting yesterday, we had a representative from USTA that was in the meeting, and also from the American Tennis Association. And these are organizations that say they would love to host national tennis tournaments in the city of New Orleans, but we don't have enough courts to host it, especially with these 10 courts being out of commission. With these 10 courts in commission, they can apply to host national tennis tournaments with USTA here in New Orleans, which of course we know would be a revenue generator for the city. Especially also a revenue generator for NORD, because we'll be able to, of course, lease these facilities out for these tournaments. Also with that, next we have our citywide security measures for buildings. So we've been having a lot of challenges with facilities being broken into. So what we're looking to do is add roll down shutters to secure buildings, because our cost for repairing front doors, repairing glasses, securing buildings, and also we're looking to put security cameras throughout our system, tied in with the Real Crime Center cameras with Ross's team. And so we would love to receive funding to help put roll down shutters and secure our buildings more, and also with that put security cameras throughout the city that will do two things. One, to not just deter the criminal activities, but also to help NOPD in the city, to where that if anything do happen in that community, in the facility of those sites, they'll be able to pull the camera footage and use it.
And how many facilities do you have identified for this funding? Do you have a priority list or a number in mind?
We can provide that. We can definitely provide that, but we don't have it offhand yet. Okay. Also with that, we have requests for citywide HMLs, playground equipment replacements, HVAC systems, safety services, pools. This is for ongoing, continuous preventative maintenance and maintenance repairs. As you guys know, when hurricane season, hurricane comes through here today, we'll need money to be able to get our high match ball field lights back up, so we can continue to provide the service for our youth and our high school kids, and make sure that we have that. Also, we have continuous maintenance going on with repairs and replacements, safety surface, play equipment, fencing, and lighting. That's something that gives us the ability, because of course we know that those funds don't sit in our operational budget, but to be able to have these funds that, to help us maintain our facilities.
And I think the most recent bond sale, there's some recommended bond funding for this component, like in particular.
Right, and I was going there, and we have, actually, Larry has been supplementing his projects as inflation has driven up costs. He's been using his general maintenance funds to supplement those costs. So make sure that, make sure we capture how much you've had to pull from that, and if you would, I'm gonna say roll it, look at your number, and if you're comfortable with, you know, absorbing that inside of this, okay, but I do want you to just note, you know, and if not, you go ahead and bump this up, I would say in 2024 to whatever we took from previously. But once we look at it, if you're comfortable that maybe this will be a reasonable, you know, can absorb it, but also put it in your description that, and Miguel, get with Ellen because she came up with a kind of a boilerplate statement that I want to include, you know, in all of the projects that we have, you know, that we borrowed money from.
Sure.
So, you know, you guys work together.
Yeah, because we're well over 1.5, close to 1.5 million of monies out of it that we put out to make sure that projects were able to stay afloat, make sure that they would happen.
So I would at least, once again, if it was 1.5, bump this.
We have it at 4 million.
Yeah, so no, but I'm saying like 2024, you're asking for $1 million. If we borrow 1.5 from you, bump it up to 1.5. And part of the description is, you know, to recapture funding that was
An additional 1.5, or just
no, just
5?
bump it up 5. Yeah.
We're gonna give it 5 back a year.
Yeah. Let's amortize that.
Right.
You know, because quite frankly, you could burn that in no time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So also with that, we do have on here citywide turf to install, repair, and maintain. So we have different locations that we would like to do. Also, we'd like to do turf, and you know, as we were talking, we had to table a project of Perry Rome Baseball Stadium. You know, within that stadium as well, we want to add the turf to that project as well. And then we need to replace the turf at Harrell, as that turf is worn out, outdated, and that's going to at least cost me close to $1 million. You know, and those are the kind of things that we're looking to have funding available to do.
Can you give us a list of, you know, and I think Larry mentioned the same thing.
Sure.
You know, what, at least sites that you want to convert.
Sure.
You know, maybe show what's been, you know, what we turfed and then what's left.
May I ask a silly question? Is turf the like grass stuff or turf the plastic stuff?
Yeah, it's artificial turf.
The
It's
grass
not,
feeling stuff,
yeah.
not the hard.
So also with that, we have Norman Playground enhancements. This is one that we're looking to enhance this facility, add a walking path, redo the basketball court, redo fencing, redo high max lights, renovate the existing outdated bathroom facility. So these are things that we're looking to do. Also to re-level the ball field, regrade it, re-level it, turn it back so we can have proper drainage. You know, these are some of the things that we're looking to do at Norman.
Does the master plan that Dana Brown developed have any?
It's still
merit?
valid. It's still
Still
pretty
valid.
much, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm wondering, Vince, do you think we should try to resubmit for state capital outlay again? Do you think that could be a strategy?
No, I mean, it could.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. Maybe
Yeah.
we should see if we can get traction from the political side.
Yeah.
And then I'll get with Pat, and maybe that's a way that this has been recurring for so many years with no, you know, traction.
All right, so with that, we have the Morris FX Jeff master plan, infrastructure, feasibility, and facility improvements. So what we're looking to do at Morris Jeff is to, of course, the Morris Jeff complex. This is one of the oldest facilities in North Portfolio. Morris FHF, the old Vernon, it actually outdates. It existed before NOAA did. This facility came into existence in the 30s, and NOAA didn't come into existence in 1947. So, now today we're doing a new natatorium that's there, but also just that complex itself. We need to look at, we have water drainage issues, we have leaky pipes that sits around there. We need to look at just revamping that entire complex as it relates to bollards that's going around, changing out. They have outdated fitness equipment that sits throughout the park, which is a safety hazard. So it's different things. We want to add an outdoor fitness equipment there because there's no room in the facility to add indoor fitness center because the facility is small. But then also this gives us the ability to bring some enhancements, some updated renovations to the football stadium as well. We also need a lot of concrete work as it relates to that stadium of changing out, making concrete ADA accessible, doing different repairs for the pavements, upgrading the concession stands. So we're asking for funding for that. We're also looking for, we want to do a miracle field at Millennium. NOAA's expanding its programs for those with special needs. The only miracle field there is in the city of New Orleans is operated by Carrollton Booster on the riverfront with Audubon Institute. But NOAA runs his primary special needs programs out of Milne at the Milne campus, and we would like to build a miracle field at the Milne campus where we can offer safe sports for those with special needs at the Milne campus.
Just a couple of questions, jumping back to Marcia. Are you guys developing a master plan? Do you have one?
So this request is specifically two purposes. One, infrastructure feasibility. There's so many problems with the park, and it's just underutilized in certain areas, but also the infrastructure is really just terrible. And then second, the overall design of the master plan and the synergy of all the facilities that have been added on, and maybe they're not quite, working together to maximize, but also try to extend the park over Magellan Canal to incorporate the site where the soccer project, the soccer site was, and then Skelly Rupp. So now all of a sudden you're able to have a little bit more relief in terms of the locations and where you can activate the park and how to use it and so many, and then you have the vehicular problems and the bollards, and then it's just, it really needs to have a little bit of thought on how to.
Just the reason I'm asking, just as I'm looking at your strategic cost breakout, if we can, the master plans and phase one design is going to be $1 million, fine. But if it's
I'm wondering if we could go a little bit lower in year one, if we can get some traction of getting
that's what I'm thinking.
The designer procured, and I think that could be a better way of, rather than asking for $1 million in year one. I'll work on that.
Just
We'll tweak that one. Okay.
And the goal is to have connectivity from General Dall to General Mine.
No, that's
from Skelly Rock, all the way to Morris Jeff Stadium. Because basically what we're doing is we're building out softball fields on the front end of Morris Jeff Complex on the General Mine side, and the goal would be connectivity, where you can have, even if it's a walking bridge, that you can walk from the Skelly Rock side over to the General Mine side, just the connectivity of it.
And can you tell me where the eagle lives, the Eagle Preserve? I've heard of the Eagle.
The Eagle Preserve is adjacent to Skelly Rock. There's sort of this kind of wedge-shaped site. It's kind of like a little triangular
So and I don't know if that's the Eagle Preserve anymore, because due to Hurricane Ida, the tree that the eagles nested in was destroyed, was knocked down. The eagles then perched and nested in our high mass ball field lights. So now that we're renovating the facility with the support of National Wildlife and Fishery Institute, they're now green lighted us to relocate the nest out of the high mass lights. And so
Let me clarify on that, because it's a permit and it's federal permit, so it's a little bit complicated. Part of the request to remove the nest required us to build an alternate nest and relocate it. So we have to kind of mitigate disturbances to any eagle that may come back to the site, and we have to provide an alternate location for the nest. So
Can we put it back in
We
the
put it-
Vernon,
yes,
in the soccer?
we put it back.
oh, in the back of the side?
Yes,
Yeah.
no, back in the fenced area. So we created a location for it to go back there. So that's where it is now.
Okay.
So we got to give it another season, and they may come back, they may not. If they don't come back, then in the future that site we no longer have.
Okay.
So we put it back in the original,
I did that
in,
part I
on the
didn't know.
original location.
In the original location, yes.
We wrapped all the H&Ms.
That part I didn't know.
Yeah, because you've been out and we
Yeah.
haven't had a chance.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
follow up.
yeah.
And there is a big bird watching community that is constantly communicating with wildlife and fisheries about this.
I got a call yesterday.
You did about it, okay.
Mhm.
From Wanda?
No, from Connie Burks.
Okay.
So people are watching.
We've received comments when reviewing certain projects in the area about the.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think there are other eagle situations that
Yes.
Nord has to.
Yes, we found the eagle's nest in Larry Gilbert Baseball Stadium, high mass ball field. Yeah, so Muntran Park, we found them in the high mass ball field lights.
Okay.
Yeah, so the eagle's nest. So from my understanding, which is appreciated, is that they're now considered urban eagles because they have adapted to the noises and the sounds and everything of the urban community.
They're into hip hop.
Yeah.
So we've sort of adapted a protocol, and we've had a relationship with wildlife and fisheries for 10 years on the eagle. So hopefully the other ones will not require so much effort in mitigating their impact.
So, Pontchartrain Park Rec Center. So, Pontchartrain Park is a historic community, and this is a community where we would love to build a multi-purpose recreation center. The nearest recreation center from Pontchartrain Park sits Milne, which is Milne, and now we have the Desire, Florida, but this one doesn't have the amenities of basketball or gymnasium. Pontchartrain Park is one of our stronger playgrounds that offer youth sports programs. So the numbers is consistently high every year. They're producing football teams, basketball teams, volleyball teams, as well as baseball and softball teams. In this community, we would like to, in place of the old current concessions and restroom building, we would like to build a multi-purpose recreational center with basketball court, concessions, restrooms, classrooms, multi-purpose rooms for that community. We also have, this is also a community that's considered a desert in a sense. We would like to do a splash pad in the Pontchartrain Park community as well. Because the nearest swimming pool to them would be Sampson, which is a old dilapidated pool. But Sampson would be the nearest swimming facility to them. We have Kingswood Park enhancements. This is an old park where we like to go in, redo the lights, redo the basketball court, renovate the basketball court, do some repairs to the play structure, redo the safety surface that Because I know after Hurricane Katrina, the best and greatest new safety service that came out were the towels. And the selling point on the safety towels were if one tears or come up, you can replace it. Well, over years they shrink and they create large gaps in between the towels. And even to put a new towel in, it never fits, never goes back perfectly. So over the years in the sun, we notice those towels, they begin to separate and split, which causes a bigger safety hazard. And so we're looking to go in to remove those towels and put in what's called pour in place. Pour in place is a solid rubber safety surface that has a different fall height depth for the size of the equipment. But the easy part about it is if you have a tear in it, you cut a hole in it, you come in, you re-pour it, and you reseal it to replace it. Unlike these towels, when they separate and they shrink, it's easy to come back with a brand new towel, but it doesn't fit because the entire surface has shrunk and you never get the full fitting again. So it was great after Katrina when all these clear structures were being built until, again, over time you see that they shrink, which causes a problem of its own.
And Larry, if you don't mind, if I could jump back to the splash pad.
Sure.
Just kind of a general question about splash pads, if we have any in the city currently, what you would expect from a maintenance standpoint. I know we talk about pool maintenance a lot in these meetings, but just kind of how those work from a city perspective.
So we're actually building our first one now. We're building one in Cutoff. That was funded through state legislative funding when our Congressman Carter was then the senator. So we are building one now. This will be our first one. It's definitely less maintenance than a pool, right? Because it's about keeping the safety surface clean, sanitizing, cleaning the surface before using it, and just also making sure that we're monitoring the usage of it. That's it. You have emergency shut-off valves where you can easily cut the water off, but it's different water features where kids get to run through, parents get to run through with their kids, they get splashed and wet, and the second one that'll be coming online as part of our bill at the Maurice Jeff, actually the George B. Rainey natatorium that's being built in Algiers right now because we want to have a splash pad feature that's incorporated in that as well.
Great.
But it's definitely less maintenance, less cost, less overhead than the pool. Yeah.
Is this number, the splash pad, the 850, is that for design and construction?
Yes. St. Bernard Center enclosed pool. So we're looking to enclose, right today we have 4 enclosed pools that offer year-round programming. We're seeing the use of these year-round pools more and more, but we're still seeing a heavy use of it with our seniors, especially during the school year, during the morning hours, with the water aerobics, with the lap swim. And we're seeing that our adult and elderly community is heavily utilizing them. And in this community, we don't have an indoor pool, and our goal is to, if we're going to enclose a pool, enclose one that's adjacent to or attached to a multi-purpose rec center, where that we can provide full services instead of having a standalone natatorium. And so this is one that we would like to enclose and to continue to expand our year-round water aerobics and aquatic program.
And would this just be, I guess, as simple as just building an enclosure around it, or would it require any kind of pool replacement or improvement?
Well, of course, some improvements would have to be done as it relates to, because we would have to have a controlled temperature of the water. There will be some repairs that need to be done on it, but it's primarily more enclosing. Vincent might know more of the particulars of it, but enclosing the pool, doing some repairs to the existing pool, and features that need to be done as it relates to controlling the water temperatures and et cetera.
And Larry, this is what we're doing at Norris Jeff.
Yes.
We're enclosing the existing pool, so we've got the model.
Yes.
And Larry, I would just suggest here that you break out your design and construction costs. I would almost even, in that regard, you've got 2 million. I think that number's low.
Yeah.
So I would
Compared to what we
suggest,
just went through.
right. So really, I would suggest that you just, right now, I would say just include planning and design. I would maybe put 300 to 500,000 in.
Sure.
And just not even, well, I mean, it's 5-year plan. Okay, let's go all the way. But do that, and just as a general comment, I think you need to level your portfolio.
Yeah.
Level it out. You're real heavy in terms of location.
Sure.
You're real heavy. So I think you need to go back, revisit, and even to the point where you may need to spread out, relook at what you've listed, and spread it out more over the 5-year period. So when I say that, that means just shifting. You may want to shift some of this stuff farther down the road. And I think you need to reach out to districts A and B and see if they've got any design, if they've got any needs for any parks in their district, and drop them in as well.
Sure.
And see that levels it out.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Well, a few things that and so that's where the stormwater resiliency projects come in at, because a lot of those are headed in A and B, and that will bring, of course, a lot of projects there. For example, A.L. Davis, Taylor Playground, Annunciation, Van McMurray, all those are in the stormwater management package.
Okay, they did, so they already got plans to
So,
upgrade,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, so there'll be upgrades that'll
Yeah.
take place
Yeah.
in those
Yeah.
in those districts with those. And of course, we're doing the Carver Playground, which is in District 8. We're doing that now.
Mhm.
We're adding amenities over by the new special needs play structure for
Mhm.
Vernon Brown, which is in District 8. So we have projects that's in those districts, or that's in the pipeline, whether it's through the stormwater resiliency projects or whether it's through some projects that we currently have in the pipeline.
Yeah, but but I still suggest you reach
Okay.
out, because we're trying to actually we're trying to more consciously engage the council on the front end. So this is our opportunity to do it.
So what Van McMurray, are you planning to take that park back and sort of try to implement a little bit more at Van McMurray? And the reason I ask is because that HMGP project is moving forward, but that basically implements the green infrastructure within the park.
Right.
It's always been in limbo just because of the charter school, and maybe there's an opportunity to kind of rethink that a little bit. But,
And typically, the green infrastructure projects are not upgrading the structures.
Yeah.
well, in this case,
And
well,
these
in
are,
this case,
and every last one of these, they are.
Yeah, they're gonna
That's
be moving
good.
basketball courts and everything.
yeah, in this case, they're really advancing,
Yeah.
and so you want to have a next phase of
Yeah.
any implementation that would really bring it to where it's programmed.
No, yeah, but that's what they're doing though. They've had extensive meetings with the community
That's
folks and residents, and so yes, after they're doing the infrastructure of the stormwater storage reservoirs on top, there's their plan. So fully renovating and bringing new amenities to the upper surface of it as it relates to whether it's sculpture gardens, whether it's new basketball courts, whether it's new play structures, walking paths. They're all incorporated in those projects.
Is there any other need, as they're doing those projects, do you need a complemental source for, upgrading equipment?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there needs to be a supplemental, and actually, the timing would be great to talk through it now.
Yes.
So a request can happen, maybe not this year, but next year, I think the timing is actually, appropriate. It's,
And I'm just saying that to say, let's go ahead and have the conversation, and let's drop it in. Let's drop it in here.
and then, I'm gonna add one more project, but I'm not sure if you're finished, so.
And just one question on the projects that you mentioned. I think it was Dale Davis, Annunciation, Taylor, and McMurray. So the funding's in place for those. That's
Yeah,
hazard
those
mitigation
are hazard
funds?
mitigation, yes.
They just got the green light
Oh,
to
that's
go
great.
out to procurement, to go out to bid.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's actually, the package, and there's like, I think, a couple of projects in that, it's the Broadmoor, Erica Bowles.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and add an FF&E line item.
That would be great, that would be.
And that way you don't have to take it out of those sources.
And that way it's in everybody's radar, because some of these things have fallen through the cracks.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, they come back, well, this project's actually moving forward, and then everybody has to regroup, because everybody forgot about it. We're gonna follow up with a meeting and go through all of this.
Okay.
And get it done.
So also with that, we have, also with that, we have, Morris FX Jeff Bike Park. Of course, that's something that, we were talking about, adding a bike park, the bike park through, where the old, soccer,
We just looked at it.
yeah. Yeah, that's in here. Also with out over the Wesley Barrow parking lot renovations. That parking lot is dilapidated.
Yeah.
It's dilapidated. It's definitely a safety hazard. We definitely need to black tile that parking lot.
This one's so long overdue.
I know.
Sad.
Does that require an engineer
Yeah,
to actually?
it will.
It will.
But I mean, this is one that I would recommend you put all in 1 year.
Yeah.
This one is.
Yeah.
Like almost like an RFP. Like a one.
And also with that, we have the Joe Brown Park Stormwater Management Projects.
Yeah, Vince and I were talking about the North Boxing Gym. We probably
Yes.
should go ahead and put the cost for that. So
Okay.
I'll provide,
Mm-hmm.
construction costs based
Okay.
on what I have now.
Yes.
And we'll, prioritize it wherever it's appropriate.
Okay.
And then
What
we'll-
district would that be?
Is that A? What district is it?
What's the location?
It's, Lafitte Greenway?
It's Lafitte Greenway, and I think that might be B.
Maybe.
Is it?
That might be B.
You know where the station is?
It's
a
like
big-
DPW
it's a
sign
station.
shop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
DPW sign
location.
shop. That might be B, because I know on Broad Street,
Right.
Broad and Orleans, I know that's D, and that's about to change to C. That might be B. Might be.
Let's confirm.
Yeah, I'll confirm. I know I've checked on it and I keep forgetting.
And Annunciation would be A, right?
Pronunciation.
Pronunciation is B.
Pronunciation is big.
Okay.
Pronunciation is B. A calls the edge of the city. Calls the edge of the city from Lakeview to Carrollton, yeah. Lakeview to Carrollton to uptown side of St. Charles.
I guess I have kind of a question about the master planning process, with all the other park partners. If you have any updates on how that process is going, if you think that might or what kind of impact do you think that that might have on your department's priorities and how, services are provided in your facilities moving forward?
So I think the process is going well. We've had multiple community and stakeholders meetings, multiple meetings. Few things that we identify when we compare to other cities similar in size of New Orleans. Our challenge is being landlocked, because with New Orleans being as old as it is, and North being as old as it is, in today's modern structure of parks and recs, especially on the sports side of it, the model is complexes instead of multiple small parks and pocket parks. However, it's still the walkability that also plays a factor when you're talking about parks and recs. So NORD manages well close to 150 properties citywide. In the master plan, the goal is looking for more acreage type facilities. We have small pocket parks that can still be a passive site, but where we're short at is NORD doesn't have the ability to host, for example, a baseball tournament, because we don't have not one facility with multiple baseball fields. Those are the kind of things that's identified when you talk about hosting a baseball tournament or hosting a soccer tournament or hosting a flag football tournament, where you have in similar sized cities where you have acreage type facilities and you have multiple fields. And that's kind of the nucleus for active sports in other cities, to where here we have 40 active playgrounds citywide that offer sports programs. And then we have an additional almost 100 passive green spaces that's in different communities citywide, which the cost for us to maintain and operate facilities exceeds where other cities are at. And also that's something that was identified to where that the true cost to maintain and run the size facility, the number of facilities and green spaces, we're under budget. It shows that we're under budget, but we're paying more to maintain smaller properties than it would be to maintain a larger acreage type property. There's different a conversation always comes up about northern parks and parkways being one. But then the question also, how do you delineate the services? Because in most municipalities, parks and rec is one, but the services that are parks and parkways offer as it relates to thoroughfares, neutral grounds, tree canopies, city maintenance in buildings is under DPW or something like that. It's not under parks and rec. So it's under streets, under DPW to maintain the medians, the neutral grounds, to maintain the tree canopies citywide. So that's part of the conversation as well. How would that look? How do that look? Also with it, we're looking at again the footprints of parks and recs, walkability, the distance that a person should have, the length of time that should take to get to some open green space, and also being mindful of the master plan. Not only looks at northern parks and parkways, but it looks at City Park, it looks at Alderman Park, it looks at the lakefront, it looks at the different the riverfront, it looks at all that. It's looking at everything holistically as it relates to parks, recs, and green space.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's been kind of my thought that this master plan was helping all these agencies learn how to complement each other, right? How to provide, just Do you have the completion date or the?
So based on our grant, we were scheduled to finish up by August. They're gonna be doing a presentation to city council. They should have done a presentation to city council Thursday. They should have. I'll have to check to see, if it happened, but I know we're supposed to be August, if I'm not mistaken. Supposed to be doing the final presentation of, the proposed master plan.
Thanks for that update. Any questions? We don't have any questions, I think we are done. I appreciate your time. Thanks for going through your requests. Very thorough as always. And, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
And just, I guess, a couple of notes about the process and timing of our report. We're planning to present this to our commission September 13th. So working backwards, we'll release the report September 6th, early September, and just basically be working through the report, through the details over the coming month and a half. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, wanted to add or edit anything, and we will do the same if we have any questions.
Okay, so we'll definitely edit this. Again, we have until next week to get this back to you guys.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we'll set a date.